Y'all were quite popular, successful in your apostolate, right? In the sense that you're reaching how many people a year at that time were you speaking to?
More than 100,000 kids a year in person.
You're writing books on chastity, you're writing books on love. So I'd love to know, because I mean, we all have little fights and little struggles. I remember for me, I had a groomsman stay in our apartment while we went on our honeymoon. And he just stayed a day or two before leaving back to Canada, but he had left food around the house without cleaning up. So we get back from our honeymoon into this apartment, and there's like mold in bowls, and it was disgusting. And I was like, "Well, hey, I'm gonna go have a nap." So I went to the bed and had a nap, and woke up to my wife like vacuuming into my bed. You know, let's go back to the honeymoon. This isn't good at all.
Like, what is happening?
So we all experienced that. But I suppose for y'all, what was it like when you hit turbulence, I suppose, in your marriage? When did that happen? And what was it like perhaps with the extra pressure of being these awesome Catholic chastity speakers?
Well, I mean, it hit pretty soon.
And I was pregnant, like 3-4 weeks into marriage. I mean, it was like super fast. And
it was a tough pregnancy, too.
It was really bad, yeah.
And then when our son was born, he had all kinds of health complications, allergic even to Crystal's breast milk. And we had to sew gloves onto his pajamas because he'd scratch himself bloody because of the pain of the itchiness and the eczema. And we were in and out of these different hospitals and doctors and specialists. And almost the only way he could fall asleep was while driving in a car with the cool windows down and everything. And then he'd finally get to sleep, and I'd just carefully bring him inside and sit him down. He'd sleep for 2 or 3 hours, wake up, feed, get upset, and I'd have to drive him around the neighborhood, 2-3 times a night to try to get him back to sleep. So sleep deprivation, is a form of human torture. When you add that into a marriage and then you try to communicate through all that. But I mean, it was a challenge, just a few weeks, I would say, into the marriage, when we start having disagreements and realize like, okay, as a single, you got a roommate maybe, somebody you surf with, and it's like you get along 99.99% unless he like uses all like the grilled chicken in the fridge and he didn't buy some more for you or whatever. Like your selfishness isn't tested that much, and then all of a sudden it's put on the stand, and all the virtues that you thought you had prior to marriage, your faults come to the surface like oil and water, because God is doing what he wants the sacrament to do, which is heal and purify the both of you in a painful way. I mean, it's like putting hydrogen peroxide on a wound. It starts fizzing pretty good.
I think you're the best wife and husband until you actually become one. Like in your mind, you're the best, like you're going to be this. And then you actually become one, and you're just humbled, like unbelievably, just like in parenthood, and you become a mother, and it's just like, oh, I remember my sister told me, I'm going to be such a better mother than you. But not in a bad way, and laughing and like, you're such a mess. But like poking at me. But at the same time, I was like, just you wait. And then once she became a mother, she's like, oh my gosh, I get it. Right. And I think it was the same thing in a marriage. But also I honestly didn't think I was going to be able to have children. I had to go to Dr. Hilder's. Yeah. And he had to do a surgery on me because my endometriosis was so severe and so bad and painful, like debilitating.
It's the same as my wife. Did you know that?
It was brutal. Yeah. And so Jason knew I knew nothing about it and all of that. And they wanted to just put me on birth control, and like birth control for everything, And
not Hilger's.
Not Hilger's. No, the 4 doctors we saw before.
Yeah, before. I mean, every doctor, because it was like so painful, and it was really hurting just my way of life. And everything was birth control, but I had been on birth control prior because in high school and my crazy life, I knew what it was going to do to me. And I wouldn't go back to that poison, right? And so we went to Dr. Hilder's, and thank God, because every time someone wants to put you on birth control, it's almost like they're putting a Band-Aid on this massive gaping wound, and they just keep like, pop that pill, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. And thank God I did go to Dr. Hilder's, and I didn't take the birth control, that little Band-Aid, because I had 2 benign tumors the size of golf balls growing on my ovaries. And I wouldn't have been able to have kids. They just would have kept growing and growing and growing, and probably would have had to have a hysterectomy. So if I would have listened to those doctors, and I took their poison to like correct, it wasn't even going to correct it. It's just this Band-Aid down the road. I would have had massive problems. So God really protected me. And I feel like they kept telling me, we don't know if you're going to be able to have kids because it was so bad. But
this is when we were engaged.
And Dr. Hilder's just opened the well springs of life in me, because after John Paul, which I didn't expect. So I go into marriage with this mindset, Matt, thinking, oh, it's not going to be for a year. We might even have a hard time to, boom, you just became a wife. and now bam, you're a mom. And it really kind of set me back. And it's not that I wasn't happy when I found out we were pregnant, but I was, I think, terrified. I didn't expect, I was already just like, wow, I'm a wife now and everything's changed and getting used to this, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, I'm a mom. It just was a lot. Like I felt this like 1-2 punch and a little taken out. So I feel like in our marriage, especially in the very beginning, I just didn't get to settle into being a wife and being in our groove because I was so sick. So it's like, okay, 3 weeks, 4 weeks into marriage, I just started not feeling right. And just like, it took a toll on me. And so that was like our first like year of marriage. So I think a part of me even was a little resentful. Like, why couldn't I be a wife?
Oh,
like, why couldn't I?
It's beautiful because it's honest. I know that, as Catholics.
Not that I don't love my son. I don't want to be here to see that.
Point.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Thank you very much for watching that Pints with Aquinas clip. If you like it, do me a favor, click like and subscribe. And please offer a Hail Mary for the work of Pints with Aquinas and all the people we're trying to reach. God bless you.